Hi everybody. This video I am going to explain the subject internet programming. In this subject I am going to discuss about unit 3 server side programming. Okay. So in this server side programming going to discuss about so what are the main goal of this server side programming is based on focus on the server. Okay. So already we have discussed unit 1 and unit 2 whether it is client side programming. Okay. Now the unit 3 we are going to study about unit 3 server side programming. So what are the main concept of the server side programming? Server is, all of you know, server is a main important one part of all the organizations. For assume take anonymous website server. In that anonymous server having lot of details regarding all private engineering college students detail and government college and students detail. Then having one web portal. There is a portal. By using this web portal, how to access lot of content from this anonymity through this server. Okay. So now this unit we are going to discuss about what are the activities we are going to study about this subject. Okay. So in that for the first chapter we are going to study about servlet. Okay. For chapter 1 I am going to study about the topic that is servlet. Okay. So what is the main objective of this that is servlet topic? So mainly servlets are effective for developing web-based solution. Okay. So web-based solution. So the servlet is the main important concept of the server. Okay. So next, so I'm going to discuss about what is a servlet. Okay. So normally the servlets are effective for developing a web-based solution. Web-based solution. Web, that is web means website. So what's the use of this website? What's the use of the website? For displaying the server content. Or simply say that. So what's the use of this website means? Just displaying the server content. So we are a client. So we are a client. Now we want to know something about something. For example, I want to know about my result, analysis result. How will you know? Just I log in just to open analysis like the COE edu. Then I will log in my using my this number and date of birth. So then log in, I will check my result. But result is now where is stored in server. Server is having database. The server is having database where information the students in staff and the information is all stored in database. So how will I know how to I found by using this website. So the website only, website and apps only you have to accessing data from this server. Okay. So in this area the servlet is very important or effective developing a web-based solution. Here we have to use one concept that is CGI, Common Gateway Interface. The Common Gateway Interface is a standard way for a web server. So what's the use of this Common Gateway Interface? So to pass a web user request to an application program and to receive data back to the forward to the user. Just interfacing from user to server, application program, the application program to user. That is web server to user and user to web server. That is the interface between the user and the server. That is a simple concept. That is interface, common gateway interface. It is a middle of user and server. Gateway. Gateway. From the user and the server. Okay. But the CGA does not communicate directly with the browser. It does not communicate directly to the browser. So what are the advantages of CGA? Servlet, advantages of Servlet over CGA. So better performance, portability, robust, secure. These are some of the advantages of Servlet over the CGA. Okay. So why better performance? Because it has a thread and it is based on use Java language, JVM. Mainly you have to use Java language. It is a very advanced for this CGA concept. Okay. So what are the capabilities of Servlet? So Servlet is a web component that is deployed on the server to create dynamic web pages. Okay. Now what's the difference between process and thread? I think all of you studied in operating system topic, that is process and thread. The process run in separate address space. Okay, process run in separate address space. But threads the process share the address space. Is sharing the address space. Like each and every job is divided on the number of thread or process. Each process have to execute something. During this time, you have to use the address space. But process a separate address space, a thread for sharing the address space. Okay. So process have their own copy of data. Have own copy of data. So what have you to catch from this work or process? How to switch one copy of this data. Okay. Where this copy of data? Segment of parent process. The thread have a direct segment of its process access to the data. Okay. Then that is process must use inter-process communication. The inter-process communication process have to use this process. The thread or directly communicate with other thread of that process. The direct communication from thread to thread, that is very important. The process carry more state information. Thread have less state information. Now process require duplication of parent process and allocation of memory and resource for costly. So new thread are easily created. That is so compared to process and thread is very better than process. Okay. Now, so what is Servlet architecture? So suppose a client sent a request to the server, but the request is sent through this HTTP request to the server, or it's sent where it is sent, that is server container. The request will send to server container. So in that server or Servlet container receive the request, which request for the user request, and direct is to be processed by appropriate servlet. So the servlet only to receive the request and process it. Okay. The servlet does its processing, which may be interacting with a database or other server-side components. So how it's working with the server? By interact with the database. So without database, server is nothing based. Because of server, database only is having for store all data, whatever you have to data. So without database, server is nothing based. Okay. You have to communicate, that is, interact with the database only. Have to send the data to the particular user request. Okay. So that's way to the servlet return its result to the client. Okay. So from the programming perspective, all servlet must implement the servlet interface to the package called as the javax.servlet. Which package name is called as javax.servlet. So method of this interface servlet are invoked automatically. So automatically is invoked the method function by the servlet container. Okay. So the interface defines the following 5 methods. We have to follow the 5 methods. So first one, that is init function, that is servlet configuration. Second, servlet configuration get servlet configuration. Next, third, get servlet information info and service. Okay. Then destroy. So to 5 different interface methods you have to follow. So first we are going to discuss about init, that is configuration. Servlet configuring init function. In this method, the servlet container calls the init method, that is initialization method, init method only once after creating the servlet instance. When the servlet instance is created, actually only one time, the servlet container calls the init method. So this init method is used to initialize the servlet. Okay. By using this init method to initialize the servlet, that is init means initialize. INIT is specified to initialize. Okay. It's a short form of initialize. INIT, initialize to the servlet. The servlet configure arguments. So the arguments used to this method is supplied by the servlet container that execute the servlet. Next, second method, the servlet configure by using the function get servlet configure. So this method return a reference to an object that implement the interface servlet configure. Implement the interface servlet configure. So these objects provide access to the servlet configuration and the information such as servlet initialization parameter and the servlet content, which provide the servlet with access to its environment. What are the possibilities to object provide access to the servlet configuration information? That's which to follow the servlet configuration, get servlet configuration method. Okay. Next, the third one, string gets servlet information, INFO. For this method, is defined by the servlet programmer to return a string containing servlet. Have to have the string container. So information such as the servlet order and version is to be followed by the servlet information. Okay. Next, fourth one, that is service. For service itself, have to follow these two services: service request and response. A request and response. This is a service. The servlet container call this method. Why to call? To respond to a client request. So at the same time, a lot of time to access particular server. A server what will do? Server automatically create some child server, child process. By using this container call, this method to respond to the client request to the servlet. Okay. Suppose we have to access multiple clients to a particular website. So at the same time, multiple clients access a particular website, so the server will be unable to give the response to all the clients. So what will do? The server will create some additional child servers or process. So child servers is responsible for each client request. Okay. Then destroy. The cleanup method is called by the web container. So destroy means clean up. Okay, web container. So before removing the servlet instance from the service, okay. So see this diagram, architecture diagram for the servlet architecture. You have to see servlet container. The servlet container contains servlets. Okay, the servlet container contains servlet. Next, this is a browser. This is a server. So we use browser. Browser is a client will accessing through this browser only accessing to the particular server. So for this browser is give the user give the request through the browser to the web server. The web server receive the request from this client and send to the servlet. These all servlets are monitored and configured by using the servlet container. The servlet container only you are using all this information. Okay. Then after completing the request, that is process, then send to the response, to the particular response, the request. Okay. Next we are going to study about the servlet lifecycle. So what is the servlet lifecycle? Yeah, one question. Generally, this web container maintains the lifecycle of a servlet instance. So the following are some of the phases in life of the servlet. First one, servlet class is loaded. Servlet instance is created. Then initialize method, that is init method, is invoked. Service method is invoked. Okay. So these are some of the phases in the life cycle of the servlet. So another one, the destroy method is invoked. Okay, this is a diagrammatic representation for servlet life cycle. Here, this is a servlet container. For this container is access through this init function. Then the output of the servlet is destroy function. Here is having you follow some of the methods. The methods, the service, do get, do post, do get, do option, trace, etc. So these are some of the additional features to learn about servlet container. Okay. Next, in this servlet's life cycle, there are three states of the servlet: new, ready, and end. This is always all of you know: new, study and so the servlet is a new state if servlet instance is created. Suppose you are anybody using this newly, the servlet is a new state, servlet instance is created. So after invoking the init function, that is installation function, the method servlet container, that ready stage or servlet perform all the tasks. You have to use one function, that is invoking init function. Okay. So when the web container invokes the destroy function or method, it shift to the end stage. Okay. So the servlet can be created by three ways. That is by implementing servlet interface, by inheriting generic servlet class, by inheriting HTTP servlet class. Okay. So first of all, going to discuss about servlet interface. So the servlet interface is provide common behavior to all the servlet. Okay. The servlet interface needs to be implemented by creating any servlet, either directory or indirectly. It provides three lifecycle methods for init function, service function, and the destroy. Initialization, service processing, destroy. So that are used to initialize the servlet, to service the request, and to destroy the servlet and the non-title cycle method. Okay. Now what's some of the methods how to study about this topic? Method's name and the description. For example, first method name, that is public void init. Public void init, that is initialize servlet configuring. So what's the meaning of this? It is initialize a servlet. It is a lifecycle method of servlet and invoked by the web container only once. Okay. The second method, web service. For this void service, servlet request and servlet response. This provides the response for incoming request. So like that, you have to use a number of four method functions: void, destroy, servlet configuring, get servlet function name, string get servlet interface. Okay. So this last two methods, that is return the objects information about the servlet. Okay. Then creating a style using servlet interface. Creating a style using servlet interface. With the topic how to learn about a sample example program for this. For this, see the flow of the program by using start from header file and each function how to display. Okay. For this above program, create a servlet by implementing the servlet interface. Have to follow the interface because of it's only by interface only have to watching to me. Okay. So normally all of you know the initialize to the configuration in the init function and service function name does not so that does not a real operation of the servlet. For example, the servlet class is a web base that displays, so this is a simple program. Okay. So normally the service method creates two objects in this parameter field, a request and response. Already we have studied the procedure. A request and a response, that is very important. But this focus with the request objects created for servlet request the request object is created for servlet request class. All the requests will be issued by the object. For the object is created for servlet response class. So this is responsible for the output of the servlet. For example, res.content type, print writer, and the print is called as using the object of the printer class. The print contain the TCP/IP tag to create the web page. Okay. So next way to discuss about servlet configuring interface. Servlet configuring interface. The object of servlet configuring is created by the web camera. Created by the web container for each servlet. So each object can be used to get the configuration information from web.xml file. Okay. We take the configuration file information from web.xml file. This is a general format of the Servlet architecture. So public servlet configure get server element commit. Actually, this is written the object of the servlet configuring. Okay. Next, so method of servlet configuring interface. So what are the methods have to use? You have see the number of sequence of methods ties to this topic servlet. So public string get the init parameter, public enumeration get the init parameter, public string get parameter. Okay. So generic servlet class. This generic servlet class implemented by using the servlet configuring and serialable interface. Using this concept only, you have to use the encrypt. Okay. Serialable interface. So to provide the implementation of all the methods. Okay. So all the methods of this interface except the service method. Normally the generic server class can handle any type of request. Any type of request is handled. So it is protocol independent. Okay. Let's see some of the methods and so method. See the tabular column. The public void init function, that is public abstract code void function. So public void destroy function, public servlet configuring function, void main, that is etc. Some of the methods have to use this generic servlet class. And second, HTTP servlet class. The HTTP servlet class is to extend the generic servlet class and implement the serializable interface. Okay. It provides HTTP specific methods such as to get, to post, to head, and to trace, etc. Okay. Here some of the methods you have to use to this servlet class. The public void service, the protected void service. You'll see the sequence of the methods you have to use this HTTP servlet classes. Okay. Then servlet request interface. The servlet request interface is used to provide the client request information to the server. Provide the client server information to a server. So see some of the methods, public string get parameter, then parameter value. So some of the example methods have to see the sequence of the method function. Okay. So that's all about the architecture of Servlet. Next we are going to discuss about form get and post actions. Get and post actions. So mainly simply say that just get and post actions. Okay. So normally you know that the browser uses two methods to pass this information to the server. Two methods to possible to the information. Okay. So these methods are get and post. First, put the heading that is get method. So this get method sends the encoded user information appended to the page request. Okay. The page and the encoded information are separated by the question mark character. It is separated by using the question mark symbol. Okay. For example, you see this link. In that we have used question mark symbol. It is by using to separate. It is to separated by the character. Okay. Next. So this get method is the default method to pass information from browser to the web server. If we want to send the message from browser to web server, the browser here is to send the message, request message from user to server and server to client. Okay. So in that situation, the get method should be avoided while passing password or other sensitive information to the server. Okay. For this method can hold only 1020 characters in a requesting string. The string. So the information is passed using query string header. So and will be accessible through query string environment variable. Okay. Then another one types of requesting using do get method. By using the do get method, so to accessing the data. Okay. Subgetting under that this function, that is reading form data using servlet. Reading form data using servlet. The servlet handle form data processing automatically using the following methods depending on the situation. The first method, get parameter. It is used to get the value of the form parameter. form. I am going to submit any form, kind of form. I use this get parameter and get parameter value. This method is to parameter appear more than one and return multiple values. Okay. That get parameter names. So this method is used to when a complete list of all parameters is needed in the current request. Okay. So next we will study about the post function. The second concept of this. So post is a reliable method of passing information to a backend program. This post function information is exactly the same way. The get method, the instance of sending its text string after the question mark. After the question mark, so it sends its separate message. Okay. It sends the separate message. For this post method, you have to passing the information to the backend program, and the example program for this get and post actions. Using this Java program, you have to execute this program. You will see the sequence of this get and post actions functions by using to get method and to get the request from the client and getting the client and process and give to the response message to the particular client. Okay. So in that you have to use some of the functions. So each function is having separate command only argument and parent name and all the things. Okay. So for this example, from this example program, by using the form link with this form HTML program and execute and will give the to display the output. Okay, the output of this program. The previous programs, the above example, the subject checked into the form. So this is a form program, that is by using the HTML. Using the HTML. Okay. So it is retrieved in the servlet code using the get and post functions. So to discuss the functions get and post. The get parameter value return the value of more than one parameter and its enumeration type. Okay. Now this is the output of this program is by using more elements, check whether there are more parameters to be passed at next element, fetch the next parameter value, all the things. Now see the output of this program, parent name and parent value, max on, semester on. This is our sample output of this program. Okay. So okay. So this is the first chapter. So thank you for watching this video. So we can see the second chapter. We can discuss the next video. Okay. Thank you.